Live from 864 Sound in Greenville, South Carolina, it's the Wash Bros Podcast with your hosts, Matt Jackson and Clay Smith.
What's up, guys? It's Matt Jackson and Clay Smith, and we are the Wash Bros. Thanks for tuning in. This is going to be episode 9, and what we'll do is talk about kind of how we regulate our emotion. The last episode, we talked about the emotions that we face and like vulnerability of being a business owner. So now we'll talk about kind of how we work through the process and how we personally are able to like self-regulate that emotion and keep driving forward. So you want to kick it off?
Yeah. I'd say the biggest part of the emotion part is like self-discipline. So self-discipline would be probably the biggest thing for me, is just making sure that I'm doing the things that I need to be doing between my business and my relationships, because that's very, very important to me, obviously. Because you got to be successful in business, you got to be successful in relationship, and you got to be successful as being a good person.
Correct.
Because if you're not, then boom, you're not.
You can have the biggest business and the best business in the world, and your wife serves you papers, and you got to give her half.
Exactly.
Not a fun place to be in.
Yeah, that's not the place I'd want to be in. But yeah, so self-discipline, like I said, is just, that's the biggest thing for me. Like when I first started, was making sure that I was self-motivated, for one, to get up out of bed and want to keep going, even when it was hard. Because I think it's natural as human to, if you face something a little hard, you have that little mental state of mind of, you're like, crap, why am I doing this? You're like, shit, is this a sign that I don't need to keep going forward? Or, you know what I'm trying to say? Like,
yeah.
If there's a little stump in the wall or stump in the road, you're just like,
bumps.
okay, what is trying to happen here?
Yeah, it's like, what are these failures trying to tell me? And I think you almost have to be hard-headed and self-motivated and emotionally in the right place to get into business to start. And I think a lot of people get into business for the wrong reasons, because they see that it's sexy nowadays to be an entrepreneur. Everybody has their own business. They get freedom. They get income. They don't have to work for nobody. But they don't understand, like, they don't have a good enough why, and they're not emotionally there and self-motivated, as you said, to be able to handle it all.
Yeah, it's like the most popular thing now is like, oh, I'm going to start a business. Like,
Oh, yeah,
like
I'm an
we talked
entrepreneur.
about, yeah, like
Instagram has made it so cool.
yeah, like we talked about previously. Once you think that you're a business owner, everybody's all about titles now.
Absolutely.
So if you have that title of, hey, I'm a business owner, if you tell someone that, they're already going to think, hey, oh my gosh, he's already has all the things that I want to have, I guess.
Coming from corporate America and being on LinkedIn all the time and being like a corporate sales guy, and seeing, my biggest pet peeve was when somebody in their title on LinkedIn or on Facebook said entrepreneur. And I'm like, so your job as an entrepreneur is to connect and sell a service to people. You want to post that, what your service is, to the whole world, so everybody can come to you if they need it. If you just say entrepreneur, you might as well just say employed. Like, it doesn't mean anything. Like, so many people have become obsessed with like, oh, the idea, and not about what it actually means to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I mean, entrepreneur, it can mean a lot of things to a lot of different people. It's all about your mindset, what you believe. I mean, I can make you think that being a business owner means, if it depends on what you're reading and what you believe in, really. You know, any word can mean anything that you believe it to be.
Yeah. It's pretty much like having a second marriage and a second life.
Yeah,
And
you're right.
you're like, man, I'm married to this, and it is my business, and it's like a second family I have to attend to.
Yeah, you don't want to piss it off, because it's going to be,
It'll bite you right back real quick.
it's going to take forever to heal it up, right?
Exactly. It's like, entrepreneurship is all about taking risk, and your risk tolerance is kind of indicates how successful you can be in business. Whether you're like, I'm going out on my own and I'm going to hustle and knock on doors and not spend money, or some people are like, I'm going to take out a big old loan, put it over my head, and that's going to be the pressure required to go out and get it. And that takes a lot of emotional strength and a lot of internal like processes that allow you to, like, not just the first speed bump you hit, the first no you get from a customer, you just crumble. And so a lot of times it takes certain things that you and I have to do internally to get over all these setbacks we face on a daily basis.
Right. And I'm to the point now where I'm ready to add more equipment to my company. So I'm just waiting on all those guys out there that bought up all this equipment to go
Yeah.
ahead and crumble so that I can get some half price stuff. Because
Exactly.
I'm all about a deal. I'm a tight ass. So.
Yeah, right.
But
The foreclosure special.
the foreclosure special, yeah, it's like getting on the county website and finding all these cheap houses and making a good lick off of them.
The tax guys.
But yeah, I mean, as a business owner, it's almost like you said, it's like, to me, it would be like going to Vegas. It's all a gamble. Like, hey, I'm going to throw money at this marketing part, at this company over here to help me. I'm going to advertise here. I'm going to throw a little bit of money here. I'm going to throw a little bit of money in the mailbox, and I'm just going to pray to God that one of them work.
Yeah, but at least unlike gambling of like chips or sports teams, you're betting on yourself.
Yes.
But the problem is a lot of people don't have the introspect or the worth of themselves to really be worth a damn to bet on.
Yeah.
But they think they do because they don't understand themselves. And then they get into the arena and they get a couple punches to the face
Yep.
and everything goes out the window.
And I think that you have to believe in yourself too. You have to believe in yourself enough to invest in yourself to get to the point to be successful. Because for me, I believed in myself and I thought highly of myself, I guess. Not like cocky, but I just believed in myself. I knew that I could do it. But if you're the opposite and you don't believe in yourself and you're going for something, it's like
being an employee.
Yeah, it's like being an employee. If you're not independent and
self-motivated.
Self-motivated, if you need someone to hold your hand, you're definitely not gonna be able to. Yeah.
It's a different type of beast. And then handling emotion is a huge thing. I see a lot of, it seems like everybody nowadays are like triggered about the smallest things. And if you're complaining about your day job because of all the issues you have, you probably shouldn't start your own business because you got so much to juggle that you can't be sitting here complaining about, oh, woe is me.
You don't have time.
Yeah.
You're just, if you're a successful business owner, you're going to get busy and then you don't have the time to sit back and let your emotions settle on the bad thing that happened at the last job or what the last person said or the bad review that you got, and you get down in the dumps. If you let your emotions settle on something that, one person's opinion, then it's going to bring you down. It's going to drain you, and you just got to let it go. Yep.
It's like get really good at imperfect action. And that's something that school has trained so many people from day one. You either fail this class or you get 100.
Yep.
And there's no such thing as like, oh, get a 60 and you're good, or just do 10% better than you did yesterday and you're good. That is failure. And people are so conditioned to think life is binary in that way, as opposed to saying, hey, look, I got punched in the mouth, but I moved forward 1% today. I'm still going to wake up and show up tomorrow.
As long as you're moving forward.
Yeah.
And I used to get hung up on the bad reviews. I used to get hung up on what, that one customer. It's very rare, if anybody knows C3, if anybody knows Matt, the driveway guy, it's very rare to get an unhappy customer. If we get an unhappy customer, we're going to handle it the best way that we think. That we're not going to treat any customer any different than the others out there.
Correct.
And being consistent in that way is what makes you a good company. No matter if one customer out of 500 disagree with your service or how you handled something, I would say that's a win-win for me.
Yep. And I would also say there are bad customers out there, and there are customers that give you 1-star reviews, but it's how you manage that when it's happening that determines whether or not you get a 1-star review on Google or that customer stays a 1-star opinion of you. And a lot is not even in our control. On Friday, I had to go out and visit a job employee did. He did a great job. He did everything he was told to do.
Yep.
The customer was like, you used bleach on my house. And then she was saying, your website says you use biodegradable systems and all that stuff. And I said, man, bleach is completely biodegradable. And this is how you clean your house. And there was just a complete disconnect the entire conversation. And I didn't choose to correct her whatsoever. I was just, yes, ma'am, let me walk around with you, let you speak. I will get out a rag and rub stuff and make sure to clean stuff that's not there, but it's going to be effort on my end. And then what are your plans to ensure that it's not going to die, even though I knew they're not going to die. But it's like, you understand, like a certain level in business is about emotional intelligence. It's not about IQ. I could just say, no, you're wrong, you're stupid.
Yeah.
And that would leave that woman in a bad mood.
Some people just want to be heard.
Some people want to be heard. And I could kind of get an idea. My employee called me. He's like, hey, just so you know, she's probably going to call you. okay, cool. Appreciate it. So what I did, instead of taking her call, I texted her. I was like, hey, I'm 10 minutes down the road. Can I pull by? And then I walked around and I spent 15 minutes with her, and I turned somebody who was kind of irritated and irate into somebody who was pleasant and appreciative that I showed up. And I just framed the situation as like, hey, like coming at her fully with humility and vulnerability and saying, look, I'm in a growth stage of business. Feedback like this helps me grow. I don't have eyes everywhere. I want to make sure that everything is flowing how it should be. Like your input pretty much helped me create systems in my business that will help prevent this going forward.
Yeah, you just grow from it.
Yeah, and then personalities like hers, they're the know-it-alls. They want to point the finger in your face, and you'll never be able to please them. So I kind of like jujitsu'd her, and I allowed her to push onto me, and I'm like, hey, absolutely, people like you help my business, like. And then she was just yap, all happy.
Turn a negative into a positive.
Turn a negative into a positive. And that's the emotional intelligence and the things you have to do instead of like, oh yeah, instantly I'm running to the other side of town. I'm like, I don't have time for this. Like, I'm not making any money by showing up at this person's place. I got to keep the ball rolling forward. But you have to emotionally be able to step out of that. Oh, this is irritating me. This is angry. This woman is not in the right mind to come at me this way, and say, hey, I'm a human. She's a human. I don't know what she's going through. Let me just be there and be compassionate. And I know I'm probably never going to get a 5-star review out of her. I'm probably not going to get a recommendation out of her. She probably won't call me again. But like my conscience is clear, and I did a good deed to her.
You know you did the right thing.
And I did the right thing. And I think at the end of the day, if your business doesn't come from an emotional place of serving, then it's not going to last very long. Or you're just going to run into a lot of bad customers. And it may just be an unlucky chance. Because I know, like, we talk, occasionally you get somebody and you misread the situation and they just blow you up after the fact. And it's just like, this person would have done it, whether it be you, me, or the big corporate guy. They're just wanting to yell at somebody.
Yeah, they're miserable and they just want to take it out on someone.
So it's like, how do we manage that and not carry that to the next job or carry it home with us or have that drain us emotionally? Because, like, our emotions are so important that if we allow that stuff to pull us down, we're going to be just overloaded and flooded.
Right.
And like all that growth comes from just dealing with all the heat.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta go in and you gotta get your hands dirty, and you gotta go through it just so you know how to handle it. You gotta go through it a couple of times, and every situation is gonna be different.
You can't read a book and say, "Oh, I know exactly what to do because of this script."
Yeah, I think that's something that's beautiful in business. You're not always going to get the same thing day to day. No matter you may be going in to wash a house in a driveway 3 times that day, but no 3 of them are going to be the same exact jobs. They're all going to be different. They're all going to be different people. You're going to have to do certain techniques different ways on every job. And
that's just the technical. It isn't
yeah.
Like you're talking about, like the emotional and the response, like from the business owner's standpoint. I'll have an employee say, hey, this person, like, we're kind of weird energy with me, and like they talk to me for 1 second, and then they'll give them a tip, and then they'll give them a 5-star review.
Yeah.
And then the guy who's like, oh, I love you, you're so great, he won't give a tip or a review.
Yeah.
It's like we're just kind of catching somebody in a certain time of their life, and then we do the service, and then we're gone, and they don't know. They're like, whatever, like my house clean now, I don't care. But like emotionally, we hold on to like, oh, this is so important to these people, and it's just there's so much up to chance that if you're not emotionally kind of grounded enough in yourself, you're going to be like, oh, well, I need to follow up because you didn't give me a review. Did I do a good job? And they're like, I have plenty of things going on in my life. I don't care.
Yeah, I think my job as an entrepreneur, as a business, as an owner operator at this point in my stage of my career as a pressure washer, I go to a lot of houses. I go to a lot of customers' houses, obviously, and a lot of the customers, they don't even know who they used last time.
Correct.
So when I pull up, I'm already thinking like, okay, how can I make a good impression on this customer? How can I emotionally get involved with this customer, and how can I make sure that they know who the heck I am when I leave this place?
Exactly.
How are they gonna, without me having to leave a business card, how can I leave an impression on that customer to make sure that I'm the one that they remember, I'm the one that they call the next time they need their house cleaned, or their friends, or their family?
Yeah. And again, they don't care about how you clean their house as much as that you cared and you made an attempt to be nice and friendly.
Customer service, I'd say, is probably 95% of it. Like showing them that you care. Hey, I'm treating you like my family or a really good friend. And a lot of my customers already feel like they know me when I get there, as to you. You know, me and you have a lot of the same business, how we do business and how we put ourselves out there is the personal thing. You know,
Correct.
People love that crap, man.
Correct. And one thing that's kind of funny to me that I'm having to figure out how to position better is a customer's expecting to meet me at the house.
Yeah, man.
And sometimes they get my guys, the employees, because now I've scaled to have 2 trucks and I got 2 guys. They're awesome guys and they do the same job I do. But how do I maintain that customer relationship without physically being there? And sometimes I don't want somebody to have a lowered expectation because they're like, you didn't show up. This guy showed up. He's great, but I was hiring you.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm leaning into a new phase of growth where emotionally I have to figure out how can I maintain that high level of customer service that I was providing, doing it all myself, but have employees do it, and they do a great job, and I always get good reviews from them, but they're also not me.
And I'm sure a lot of your customers are like looking forward to seeing you when
they catch
when
up.
your truck pulls up there, and they're like, "Damn, it's not Matt, it's somebody else."
Correct.
So they probably get like,
you create a friendship with people and they're like, hey, I can't wait to like chat for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, oh, good for you for growing your business. But like, I kind of liked when you're an old small guy.
I wanted to catch up on conversation from last time, catch up. It's kind of like meeting an old friend for,
Absolutely. So like what I've been implementing is like certain houses. I have like big Kiwi houses. I got good customers. I'm like, hey, look, I will be with my guys. They're going to be doing the work, but I'll be supervisor just to kind of foster that relationship and keep them comfortable. They don't want to be like, oh man, I trust you on this, but like, who's this guy?
Yeah. Cause it's, and a lot of your people, I know I am like, I'm kind of like, I'm careful about who I bring to my house because you never know, something might get walk off because you built that trust with that customer.
It's true.
And I know like a lot of places that customers may find us on, you have to go through a background check and stuff. So people, it just, it makes them comfortable.
Correct. Yeah.
And you always, we're talking about emotions here. You want to make sure your customer's comfortable. They feel good about you. They feel good about the job that they're getting. They feel good about how much they're paying you and the quality of work they're getting.
Yep.
You always want to make sure that,
it is a completely different beast as you grow out of the owner operator role. Cause like you got to adjust your prices to reflect your employees. And then sometimes people are like, hey, look, I was comfortable paying you this, doing the job. And now you want to go a little higher and you're not going to be on the job. So it's like, hey, what's going on here? You got to find those right personalities that you can mesh with, and I can maintain the relationship. I'm just not physically on their site, but they know that I'm overseeing it, and my employers are sending me pictures and do the same jobs that I would do because I trained them. And it's like, how do I manage that relationship without being the technician on this job? And it's kind of a learning curve for me right now because, like you said, everybody's different. Well, it's easy to like be able to see stuff on the spot, but like fielding a call from a guy who's like, hey, like what's going on here? And I'm like, I'm not physically there.
Yeah, it's like we were talking about. As you grow as a person, you lose a lot of friends. Well, as you grow as a business, you can lose a lot of customers too.
It's true. It's like, why are people using you? They like to see, hey, you're the new guy. You're going to be like super on the spot versus the guy who's big and he's got all these employees and he's got overhead and it's less personal.
Right. And the people love the personal small family type deal, and they know that they're supporting a small, small business.
Yeah, and
I'm a little different than you because I'm owner operator, but you're still considered a small business as well.
Yeah, I got employees, but I'm still like pretty involved in my business, so it isn't like I just tee it up and send them out and say, hey, there you go.
Yeah, and you're in Mexico while they're still here working.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a corporate job or a corporate
type
company.
Exactly. It's like, hey, it all comes back on me.
Thank God we're not there anymore, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
But that pretty much wraps up episode 9, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, episode 9. It's been great. As I said in episode 8, if you think there's something that you'd like to hear us talk about, please leave a comment. YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Be sure to hit follow on all those. We'd love to have you there to listen. We got more to come, a lot more to talk about.
Yeah.
And we'd love to have you.
Absolutely. And it's another thing too, like the more we grow, like we connect with local guys and we connect with guys who are in the industry on Facebook, and like we all face the same or similar growth challenges. So it's like, hey, it can help out by knowing like, hey, the problems that you face are the problems that we face too.
Correct.
And like, you're not in this alone, and we're all in this together, and we don't have to be like, oh, everybody's better than each other and have ego here. It's like, for the most part, we're all kind of in the same boat. So it helps when you guys like and share and comment because it helps get the word out and we can connect with more people.
Yeah, man. Well, we'll see you in the next one, guys.
Sounds good.